What's up guys, this is the Guitar Gent coming at you with a brand new reaction video and I'm extremely excited to be revisiting Nemophila today guys. Now the first song that we did, Dissension, was absolutely mind-blowing. I was not expecting such a level of aggression and power and overall like fantastic songwriting wise, everything. I was extremely impressed and now we're going back to listen to Oiran. I want to say Oiran. You guys tell me that my pronunciation when it comes to the Japanese names it's getting better. I hope that's true. Maybe you're just saying that because you're kind, but thank you anyway. This seems to be some sort of a live version, live recording, I don't know, recording in studio. I see like I have the video stopped on the 0 seconds mark literally, and they are all like they seem to be in a rehearsing studio or something like that, which is something that I love because usually you get to see a lot of the actual playing of the musicians. So I'm very excited to check this out, guys. Again, the first one was probably, as I said during that reaction that I will link somewhere around here, I guess, was one of the most, it was actually the most modern approach to metal that I've seen from the Japanese scene, which is very exciting. Again, I love all different phases of metal music. I do always love those some very modern incarnation though as well, so you know, some metalcore influences, and that song had such an original way to go at it. So I'm very curious to see about this. Of course, that was the last song that they produced. I seem to understand that this is the first one. At least I went on their channel, like in their playlist that they have on the channel with the Nemophila original songs, and this is the first one. And I see it's from basically 1 year ago, a bit more than a year ago, the 23rd of February 2020. Very excited and very curious, guys. Let's see if this is going to be at the same level of Dissension, and if that's the case, we're in for a treat. Let's go, guys. Oiran, Nemophila. Already taking advantage of that 7th string. Ooh. Look at how much fun they have when they play. That's what makes me so happy. Woo! Oh, lovely riff. What a voice she has though, guys. Jesus Christ. Both distorted and clean. Fuck, amazing. She's extremely smart with the way she uses the microphone as well, guys, to add some distortion, like bringing it very close to the mouth. That's kind of creepy. You see, she leaves much more space between the microphone and her mouth when she's singing clean, and then when she goes into the distorted, it's like attached to the mouth. Oh, what a tone. Oh! I love this scale. Ah! What a nice tonality for the solo. I love also how they took some very different approaches for the guitar solos. Harmonizing, nice. You gotta love the drummer and the bass player, guys. It's just they've been smiling all the time. Oh, breakdown. Yes. The blah as well. Oh, nice. Wow. Wow. Guys, absolutely love this. As I said, it's like it more or less, I'd say that it's along the lines of Dissension when it comes to the genre. So as I said, it's like a very modern approach to metal, but there's still like this is a bit less of that. Like of course you get those influences. You have the breakdown at the end. You have the blah as well. When it comes to the vocals, overall, I'd say this is a bit more balanced between modern influences and stuff that's still modern. Of course, we're not talking about Iron Maiden or anything like that, but it's more, you know, Slipknot maybe when it comes to the influences. Fantastic song. There are many points that I want to touch upon, guys. I don't know if this is going to be a very long video. If that's the case, sorry. You already knew what you were getting yourselves into. First of all, like when it comes to it's something I pointed out during the reaction as well, the enjoyment, their faces while they were playing, that is something that always warms my heart. It's especially this is something I touched upon especially during the reaction for Asterism. Fantastic song. Oh my god, Dawn. Oh Jesus, can't wait to listen to more from them as well. But you know, something that I said is that sometimes, let's say that it's very common to find people that have a very high technical skills when it comes to music, but they get to a stage where they lost the enjoyment. It becomes a work. It's like something that you do, but that's not necessarily something that you enjoy. It's a bit like, you know, maybe you're a piano player, you've been playing piano since you were 3 years old. It's not like as soon as you're done playing after a concert, you go home and to relax, you listen to Chopin. Just saying, like, you know, it's almost something that becomes a burden. Like you are good at doing this, it's your career and everything, but you don't enjoy that. And that's definitely not the case here. I mean, just look at their faces. It's fantastic. Honestly, it's fantastic to see. The drummer and the bass player, the rhythmic section especially, like they were smiling all the time. That was so nice to see, honestly. Like the bass player didn't come through a lot when it comes to the sound. Like again, she was very tight and she was working so well with the drums, but it's something that happened as well in Dissension. It's like there isn't that much space, I guess, for the bass to shine, at least in this song. Let me know if there are other songs that are bass heavier, because you know that I love that. Such an interesting song, songwriting wise as well. Many different sections, original also in the way that they went at it again, song from a song structure point of view. Of course, it's nothing crazy. It's not like we're talking about progressive metal, but they didn't go with the usual structure of every metal song that comes out, especially in the Western culture, let's say, from America specifically. You always get the feeling that there are a lot of bands coming from, especially when they're signed to some specific labels. It's almost like they made them with a stamp, like every song basically is the same, which is something I don't usually enjoy. Maybe I can enjoy the sound of it, I can enjoy the song if I listen to it and that's it. But it's kind of the same logic sometimes that appeals to pop music listeners and especially producers though. Like you just copy paste the same thing over and over again. They have their approach, like their own approach with it, which is something that I absolutely love to see. I've already managed to witness some progression, I think both on a technical level and on a songwriting level, going from this to Dissension. That's basically been a year between the two songs, from what I see, of course, on the YouTube video. And you all told me, guys, that this is a very recent band. They have to publish their first EP, or maybe they have published their first EP. Let me know, guys, about that, because I'm very curious to listen to it if it's already out. Possibly let me know if it's on Spotify as well. It would be nice and handy. Performances wise, I wanted to touch upon vocal performance and the guitar players as well. Drums and bass, I mean, I already touched on the bass. Drums, fantastic work again, as I said, works very well with the bass, but she was so tight. All the drum fills, especially the snare fills and the double bass, fantastic work, honestly. Exactly what the song needed. Nothing too crazy, nothing too show-offy, let's say, but very functional for the song. Again, when it comes to the guitar players, something that I pointed out during the reaction, I found extremely interesting the two different approaches that they took for the guitar solos. The first one was much more technical, some very interesting modes, some very interesting scales, more of a shreddy, let's say, type of solo. Very interesting, very interesting. Love that. The tone was fantastic as well. The second one was kind of the opposite. I mean, it was still very interesting when it comes to the note selections and everything, but it was kind of a no bullshit approach, like much more direct, hammering on the same string going over and over again. It kind of reminds me a bit, if you think about Slayer. This is a very different solo from Slayer solos, 100%. But sometimes there is that feeling, especially with Kerry King solos, that he's just doing it for, to create chaos. Again, it's a very different thing, but I felt some of that energy as well in the second solo. Much more, I want to say, like a punk solo, like that attitude. Whereas the first one was, again, much more of a thought out and technical solo. And then, guys, I want to touch, of course, on the vocal performance. Now, already with Dissension, I had a taste of her amazing skills, both when it comes to the harsh vocals, which were impressive and are impressive here, especially because, again, this is a live recording. You could tell that. Fantastic work. She was very smart again, as I mentioned, as I pointed out. The way she used the microphone, you can basically take to use to your advantage some of the natural distortion that a microphone creates if the source of the sound is extremely close to it. So having the microphone very close to your mouth, especially if you're using your throat in the right way, so the sound that comes out of it, it's not so loud as if you were screaming your lungs out. And you're not risking, of course, of damaging your vocal cords as well, and the microphone can pick it up more, of course, also in a more distorted way. But then again, her clean vocals are fantastic. But I think that my favorite tone from her is her distorted clean. It's like when she's in her clean register and then she applies a bit of distortion to the vocals. I think she has a phenomenal tone. And when she's in that pocket, it sounds so good, honestly. Very rough, very gritty. It's just fantastic. and the performance was extremely strong overall. Looking at this video again, guys, made me miss a lot being in a rehearsing room, also because I had the chance in a video of like this to see the dynamics in the band, like, you know, the singer that looks at the guitar player, the bass player that looks at the other guitar player, and the drummer looking always at the bass player because they're the rhythmic section, you know, all these dynamics that are always there in a band. I'm always extremely curious and fascinated by, you know, these dynamics in a band. I'm very happy to see them and to understand them. It usually also helps you get an understanding whether this is whether it's an healthy band, like the band is in a healthy place, in a healthy relationship between the members, or if they're just, you know, they hate each other. Like if you watch some videos of Metallica in their tuning room from, you know, some kind of monster era, you get what I mean. It's just very different. Honestly, guys, this band is fantastic. Very modern, but I absolutely love that. I love that Japan is offering also something under that category, let's say. As always, guys, let me know. This was the biggest request, and the other one was a Raite. Very curious to check that out soon enough as well. I went with this because, again, it was actually the biggest request and it was the first song on the playlist, so I'd imagine it was the actual first song, so I was very curious to see that. Let me know, please let me know if they've already released the EP and the name of the EP in case that's already out, because I do want to check that out as soon as possible. I have a lot of hopes, honestly, for this band going forward. Hope that they will stick together, because I know that the scene is very dynamic and they keep on creating new bands and etc. But I see a lot of potential for these ladies. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I did talk quite a bit. I don't know if this is a very long video because the song was 4 minutes more or less. But if you got this far, I'm extremely appreciative of your time as always. If in addition to that you also enjoyed my insights and you decide to stick around for the next ones, of course, I'd be very happy to see you soon enough, I think, with the next one. There are a couple of things that I'm working on the background, besides of course all of the reactions and the occasional guitar covers that I'm making, and hopefully you'll find those interesting as well. Thanks again, guys. Let me know what you think and all the usual good stuff in the comments, and I'll see you soon with the next one. Bye.